Look in my eyes, what do you see? It's wrestling on a Saturday. WWE, after what happened on the other channel, wanted to set out and go, this is what we are all about. And you know what? They absolutely did. Let's get to it. This is WWE SummerSlam 2021 Graded. If you want to go move for move with what happened last night at SummerSlam, check out what happened at SummerSlam on the YouTube channel right now with Jack. And if you'd like some of the absurdity from the Allegiance, then check out WTF Moments with Ross on this channel a little bit later on. We're going to assign all the moments throughout the night a lovely grade. Like the kickoff show match between Big E and Baron Corbin. Corbin, who has stolen Big E's Money in the Bank briefcase, is clutching it like a newborn baby. He eventually the referee prizes it out of his hands for the start of this match. It's Big E laying a shoe-in on Baron, and just as Baron starts to get some momentum, he tries to make a run for it with the title, only to get walloped by Big E. Big old spear through the ropes and a big ending for the 1-2-3. Gonna give this a B. It was a good, fun kickoff show match. Big E has the briefcase again. I'm excited for how Big E is gonna cash that bad boy in. I think this might... At this point when watching this, I thought, that sets us up for something later that didn't happen. Spoiler. But it's a B. It's a good way to kick off the night. We move on to the first match of the night proper. It is RK Bro versus Omos and AJ Styles for the Raw Tag Team Championships. Riddle gets a kick-in for a lot of this match. We eagerly await the hot tag from Orton, who runs wild. Finally, somebody finds a way to take out Omos, and it's Riddle pushing Omos into the steel post outside the ring. AJ Styles follows this up near the end with a beauty of a moonsault into a reverse DDT, but it's too little too late. AJ gets into the ring and eventually succumbs to an RKO for the 1-2-3. We have new Raw Tag Team Champions, and it's Riddle and Randy Orton. They're friends at last, and this was a B+. Strong opening to the night. I've really liked the story they've told between Orton and Riddle. Kind of thought that we might see Riddle and Orton break up at this point, but instead we are doubling down on the Super Friends, and they are now tag champions. And it was it was the right way to start the night. Eva Marie and Alexa Bliss going one-on-one next. Marie out with Doudrop and Bliss out with a seemingly very over Lily. And I mean like the doll Lily, not the massive 4D animations that terrified everybody. This one, not a whole lot to be excited about with this one. At one point, Eva starts slapping the doll. This causes Alexa Bliss to hulk up. She runs wild on Eva Marie, but misses out on a twisted Bliss. And as Eva Marie is arguing with the referee, she stumbles into a DDT for the 1-2-3. At the end, Doudrop announces Eva Marie as the loser, then puts on Eva Marie's robe and sachets away. As fun as all this was, in ring, this wasn't a whole lot to be excited about, so I'm giving it a D. It was brief at least, and it may lead to finally the main roster debut of Piper Niven as opposed to Doudrop, but not a massive exciting part of the night for me. We saw AC Slater interviewing the new tag team champions next. That was quite nice. Enjoyed that a lot. And then we went into the US Championship match. It's Damian Priest challenging Sheamus. The Sheamus overpowers Priest after a powerbomb into the ring post. And these two have a nice sort of beefy boy battle here. There's some really great near falls in this. There is one where we see Priest springboarding off the rope straight into a knee from Sheamus, and that got a very close one. Priest very much holds his own despite Sheamus on the offense. The finish comes when Sheamus puts Priest into a figure four, and Priest pulls Sheamus's nose guard off and just wails on him with punches to the face, nails him with a spinning heel kick, and then drops him with the Reckoning. 1-2-3, a brand new United States champion. This one is a B-. These two worked well together. I don't think they really got out of third gear, or fourth gear rather, for this one, but I think there was a lot of potential with these two. I like that Damian Priest is now moving away from just constantly feuding with The Miz and John Morrison. Whew, that was something, wasn't it? And also with Sheamus, like, it's been a rather underwhelming United States Championship run. So I'm excited to see what they'll do with this secondary belt on Monday Night Raw going forward. Up next, the Mysterios are challenging for the Usos SmackDown Tag Team titles. They've done this dance a couple of times now. We've had some Mysterio family bother that we're contending with going into this as well. Dominik Mysterio hitting the Three Amigos during this match, echo back to SummerSlam. Maybe made us think that the custody Dominik ladder match had the wrong winner. I'm just putting that out into the world. Dominik gets shut down by the Usos, and we wait on the hot tag from Rey Mysterio, who goes wild for everything. He hits a 619, looks like he's going to go for a frog splash, but the knees up stop that from being successful. Rey then succumbs to a double super kick and a splash for the title retention from the Usos. Simple enough match, fun enough match. I'll give it a B-. All their matches have been fairly similar, but I feel this one sort of stepped it up a little bit more for SummerSlam. It feels like the final time these guys will do it. And I thought what they delivered was not great, but very, very good. We get a random musical interlude from Rick Boogs and King Nakamura. There's a few segments on the night where you feel like they're just trying to get people on the show, and this was one of those. And then we come to the part of the night which I think you've probably already heard a lot about. Which is Bianca Belair set to defend her SmackDown Women's Championship against Sasha Banks. It is announced at the start of the match that Sasha Banks is not able to compete tonight. She is not there. And Bianca Belair is surprised by this. So instead, she's defending the title against Carmella. Except that doesn't happen as Carmella gets into the ring after some smack talk from Bianca Belair. Out comes Becky Lynch. A monstrous reaction to Becky Lynch making her return. She sends Carmella flying. She throws her into the ring steps. All good so far. Bianca Belair says, "How about I have a championship match now?" Something in Irish. And Bianca Belair's up for it. So there we go. We now have a SmackDown Women's Championship match. Bianca Belair versus Becky Lynch. A first time ever. This is amazing. Like, Belair has shown so much energy over the last few months, and Becky Lynch is here. This is like the crossing of two generations. Oh wait, Bianca Belair has just lost the title in about 10 seconds flat. A manhandle slam is what we're calling the rock bottom now, by the way. And Becky Lynch with a cheap shot after a handshake and one move has become the SmackDown Women's Champion. And she celebrated in the ring. I timed it. She celebrated in the ring with the title longer than the actual match was. It's depressing, isn't it? And Bianca Belair just looks devastated by this. And you know what? I'm there with her. So how do we grade this? In terms of seeing Becky Lynch again, I mean, it's an A. It was a great reaction. Everything from the moment Becky Lynch's music hit to Carmella getting thrown into the ring steps was an A. But wow, what a way to bury somebody that you have spent the better part of 2021 building up. We come back to this conversation about how wins and losses don't matter, and it's a story. You will hear people telling you over the next few hours, trust the process. This is going to be a good thing. There's a plan here. These things happen for a reason. And I really want to believe that. I really do. But this is possibly the most depressing thing that I've seen WWE do in quite a while. And they've done quite a bit. I mean, the Karrion Kross stuff on Raw was one thing, but this, Bianca Belair, who headlined night one of WrestleMania, who has just become organically one of the most over stars on SmackDown, who has grafted and worked through so much to make herself the main player on SmackDown. You just snub that flame out in 10 seconds. And why? And why? You could have just had Becky Lynch come out and maybe save Bianca Belair and do the whole, hey, we're having a match for that down the road. You could have done that. Everything would have been fine. You had to take the belt off Bianca Belair and give it to Becky Lynch tonight? You had to? You really had to? You didn't have to. Bianca Belair was done dirty last night, and it sucks because Becky Lynch, the comeback of which we were really excited about, it just immediately just did that. And everyone just went, oh, so the one that one wrestler that we got behind, Becky Lynch, who fought through adversity, who wasn't meant to be over, she's just come back and in 10 seconds beat the top person on SmackDown. Okay, I'll probably get some heat for this. I'm giving this segment an F. I'm actually giving this an F. And you'll disagree probably. You might be a massive Becky Lynch fan and you might think I'm overreacting by this, and that's fine. That's fine. These are just the opinions of a weirdy beardy on the internet. It doesn't really matter. I'm giving it an F. I think that this was a terrible way to bring back Becky Lynch by having her bury a top star on SmackDown. However this feud tends to go from here, all it does is just show, hey, that star we spent months and months making, not as good as Becky Lynch, not even on the level. It's just really disappointing. Really, really disappointing. I can't help but feel this is a knee-jerk reaction to CM Punk. One of many knee-jerk reactions to CM Punk, which we'll get to as we carry on the night. Anyway, Jinder Mahal and Drew McIntyre are out to make us feel much better about ourselves. This is after we've celebrated the Wrestling Olympians. Gabe Stevenson did say he was going to be at SummerSlam. He did the wave and everything. But Jinder Mahal and Drew McIntyre is our next match. A brief but dominant one for Drew. Jinder gets a little bit of offense in at the beginning, and then Drew finally just starts throwing him around the ring, then hits him with the Future Shock and the Claymore. 1, 2, 3. Thank you very much. Jinder's cronies try and get in the ring afterwards, and Drew chases them off with Angela the Sword. It's a C. It's an uninspiring feud that gave us a relatively uninspiring match, and it was short, fine. It was just fine, wasn't it? It was just fine. The Raw Women's Championship on the line next. Nikki A.S.H. versus Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair. Now, the champ very much presented as the underdog in this one, but that's not a surprise to her. She's been presented as the underdog throughout the entire of the storyline here. And when we would see quite a few moments in this where Charlotte and Rhea Ripley would square up and then Nikki would get knocked out of the ring. Nikki had a few good flurries in there, though. There was a bit where she was holding her own, some lovely near falls from her, also a really lovely dive to the outside of the ring. I quite like that. Charlotte Flair got all her stuff in as well. Lovely twisting moonsault to the outside of the ring. Ripley at one point looked like she was going to tap both of them out at different times. Eventually, we see Charlotte and Nikki squared up in the ring together. Nikki comes off the top. Charlotte dodges it, puts in the figure 8. Nikki taps out, and Charlotte is once again the Raw Women's Champion. I'm going to give the match a B-. It was an entertaining match between these three. Well balanced. I feel for Rhea Ripley, who has sort of been lost in the shuffle in all of this. Nikki's title reign seemed to merely exist to elicit a pop from the first night and to give Charlotte Flair another title run. Why could you not have brought Becky Lynch back here? Why could you not have done that here? If you wanted, if Charlotte Flair has been entwined with Becky on TV for weeks, you're telling me that the only way you could bring Becky Lynch back was to have her completely obliterate the energy behind Bianca Belair. Why not bring her back here and have her kick 7 shades out of Charlotte at the end of the match? That would have been fine. You could have done that, but whatever. You do you, hun. Seth Rollins and Edge are here, and I said going into this could steal the night. You know what? It flipping well did. Big shout to Edge on his entrance. Coming out to his Brood entrance, complete with fire around the ring. And the glasses and the music and the lighting. It's the only time in modern wrestling history we've been happy to see red lighting. And I just thought this was a really nice way to start it. And then it went into Metalingus so we could all sing along and stuff. So that was fine. Lovely entrance. But then, away from the entrance. Seth Rollins and Edge are beautifully, beautifully paired. You know, they're like a wine and a cheese. They just go very, very well together. And throughout this match, there are just some great 1-2 bits and set pieces. A really nice nod to Edge's family, who Seth Rollins who's been needling for some time, because Edge got a near fall off a glam slam. Liked it a lot. These two are just great together. Edge avoids a stomp at one point on the apron, gives us a Big E style spear through the ropes. That's very much Big E's move, but we'll allow it, even though Edge did it through a flaming table that time. Whatever. A very creative, very intense finish as well, as Edge puts Seth in a crossface. And just as Seth is coming out of it, because bear in mind that Edge is now down deeper than he's ever been down, deeper and down. And as Seth is coming out of the crossface, Edge starts bouncing his head off the canvas like it's a basketball. And then, that's probably a CM Punk reference, bouncing his head off the canvas and then puts a sleeper hold in and gets the tap out win that way. Oh, this was an A+, best match of the night, hands down. These two worked beautifully together. If you watch one match from this show, watch Edge and Seth Rollins, you will not be disappointed. We move on to the first of two main championship matches for the night, in the men's division at least. Bobby Lashley and Goldberg for the WWE title. Beefy power game from these two. Bobby weirdly goes for something off the top rope early on and gets thrown off by Goldberg. The match changes shape when MVP clatters Goldberg's knee with his cane, and then from there Bobby just focuses the attack on the knee, driving him into the ring post several times. And the referee eventually calls the match off because Goldberg can no longer stand up. So that's the match. Goldberg loses via ref stoppage. Somebody jumps the ring onto Bobby at one point, and just instinctively, Bobby puts them in the hurt lock. Turns out to be Cage Goldberg, and MVP looks terrified at this. He's on the mic pleading that we didn't know that was Goldberg's son. He jumped in from behind. It could have been anyone. But anyway, Bobby Lashley is still the champ. Let's get out of here. This was a B+, a very good high-impact collision. Looks like one of Goldberg's two remaining matches on his contract is going to be a rerun with Bobby. Maybe with Cage in there as well. Another father-son tag team based shenanigan. We come to our main event of the evening. It is Roman Reigns versus John Cena for the Universal Championship. And the story behind this match, they told on SmackDown, it only takes 1, 2, 3 for John Cena to end Roman Reigns' reign of terror. And throughout this match, it is John Cena trying all manner of sneaky roll-ups and nearly getting it. Reigns continues to overpower him, though. Reigns the more dominant figure in this matchup. Multiple AAs from Cena, even one through the table and one off the Bret Hart middle rope. Doesn't get the job done. Cena gets undone when he seems to go for a spear, Roman Reigns style. He even gives us the old ooh-ah as he charges, but Reigns kicks him in the head, lands a couple of Superman punches, and then buff, hits a spear of his own. One spear is all it needed. 1, 2, 3. And Roman Reigns is still Universal Champion. We don't have long for that to set in when Brock Lesnar makes his presence felt, walking out like he's just walked out of the butcher's, and he is looking as fit as a butcher's dog. Lovely beard going on there, man bun in place, jeans and like a vest top. He squares up to Roman Reigns. Paul Heyman looks like he's seen a ghost. Roman leaves with Brock Lesnar standing in the ring. So that is what we're moving to next. Roman and Brock once again, but the new look Brock, which I'm excited about. It's an A-. This was excellent work from both. They told a really great story throughout it. Not the best match of the night. That already went to Edge and Rollins, but I really got into some of the near falls in this one. They really bought me and sold me on what they were doing in the main event. Overall, SummerSlam for me, it's going to be a B+. In ring, they told some great stories. We're talking the Seth and Edge match. The two title matches were very good. But around that, there was some very WWE stuff going on. There was, of course, the return of Becky Lynch, which I think will be the most talked about thing here. WWE tonight did prove what they do and how they do it by having some really excellent wrestling on pay-per-view and some baffling booking that just buries people for no reason. I think everybody will be talking about the Becky Lynch situation from this, how you've taken a star that everybody was so excited to see and very almost sort of snubbed out all that excitement by doing it the way they did it. A lot of people will be talking about that, but if you want something bright to talk about from SummerSlam, maybe watch Edge and Seth Rollins. Just chef's kiss from those guys. Stay safe. Love you. Bye.